morning and welcome to Good Morning Africa here on Housing TV Africa. This is the flagship program of the station and it's always a pleasure to break the day with you here on the station. My name is Dorcas Chia.
And my name is Chris Jacob. What a pleasure it is to have you join us on the show today.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Dorcas. How have you been?
I've been doing good, and how have you been?
Great, indeed, as you can see.
Wow, that's good. And you actually look great, I must say that.
Oh, sure, thank you very much.
The blue is nice.
Oh, well, that's my favorite color anyway. So what's up? How has the country been to you in recent times?
Well, I think the country has been, let me say, rather very busy.
Yeah.
A lot of things have been happening over the past few weeks, or let me say last week. We had the issue of the demolitions which was going on here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and a lot of things. And this week the protests that just kick-started and just happened with the whole saga and the whole activity that came with it. So it has just been a very busy, I think Nigeria has been busy in this
very busy indeed, and engaging, as a matter of fact. You talked about demolition of buildings. It didn't just happen here in Abuja, even in Lagos, there has been this series of demolition. And my worry, concern is that why allow them to build, to this level before demolition? I had a privilege to, interview somebody on one of our programs here, and he said, is a punitive measures for these persons, because a lot of them do not have CFO, while a lot of them actually did not go by the pattern, the plan of the state. So the circumvented original pattern, of the building policy of the state. And that's more reason why sometimes the government allows you to build to an extent before the demolition. But to me, I feel it is not fair, to those, that these persons have violated, of course, the rules
from the very beginning.
From the very beginning. Tell them not to continue with this erection of building. So so that you save the person of untold heartbreak or hardship,
because they spend a lot of money,
as a matter of
a lot
fact.
of resources into building that particular structure and everything. Then you just come and tell them, oh, you're on the wrong spot. Okay, we are talking about those who actually offend. And right now, let us come to the issue, the one that happened last week here in the Federal Capital Territory, a green area, a park,
you can imagine.
For recreation. The person that is a green area, something that is contributing to the climate,
absolutely,
climate
to the ozone
change
layer
in the society, and you just come and say that place has been there for a long time, and you just come and demolish it over the fact that it has been sold out and all that. I feel that was very wrong. That was very wrong, because in this situation, this is where we begin to call those in planning.
That's right.
The town planners need to come together to work alongside with the government and the authorities and let them know.
Just like you say, green areas, in Abuja master plan is gazetted already. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, as a matter of fact, is a deliberate creation, so that you can breach humans and nature. And unfortunately, with what we've seen in recent times here in the capital city, demolition of these recreational centers, I was on site to see that, and it was very devastating. There's a particular place in Maitama where diplomatic community find it, very serene to wind and unwind. But, within the twinkle of an eye, the authorities concerned in Abuja here sent their earth-moving machines to these very sites and began demolition, and that indeed really caused some certain expression of displeasure by Nigerians, and people have raised eyebrows concerning these I call it irregularities. As a matter of fact, if all this green land that is gazetted in Abuja is converted to residential areas, I think is violating the original master plan of the FCT. And it's quite unfortunate indeed. A lot of things have happened, as you said, as you earlier mentioned, for the past few days here, including rumors of coup. For a very long time, we haven't even had. I think the last rumor of coup, apart from that of Major Gideon Oka during the regime of General Ibrahim Babangida, the other one that was a kind of a rumor also was, during General Sani Abacha, where the former President Olusegun and others, were incarcerated as a result of that. But by and large, the defense headquarters have debunked, the stories that there was nothing like any rumor of coup d'etat, that the senior military officers who were arrested was actually is a military routine, is a military regimental issue, so the DHQ has debunked that, so there's nothing, relating to coup d'etat in Nigeria. And of course, Nigeria is still a democratic country and wouldn't want anything to hamper with our nascent democracy.
And we on our own too. We don't hope for such, because things like this usually come with very, very detrimental consequences.
Absolutely, you can say it again.
So we just keep hoping for peace, and tranquility, or did I say harmony in the country?
Absolutely,
here.
absolutely. All right. So on the show today, of course, could you let our viewers know what to expect on the show today?
Yes. For today, we are going to be looking at the administration of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and how Nigeria has fared on it. We're going to be looking at the economic impact on the common Nigerian. But before we get into the whole discussion, let's just take a charge for this morning. And when we return, the program will kickstart. This is still Good Morning Africa on Housing TV Africa. Stay tuned.
Good morning again. I trust we all slept very well, and I believe we woke up hopeful, because what I want to talk about is very relatable to every human being that walks the face of the earth. I want to talk about a 4-letter word, and that is time. T-I-M-E, time. You've all heard of the song. I think they sang that song, or whoever sang it like a while ago. Time, not money, oh, something like that. And then there's also the saying that time is of the essence. And they also say once you lose time, you can't have it back. And that last phrase is what I want to dwell on. Now, just think along with me for a moment, okay? From the time you were born to the time you draw your last breath, what happens in between? Food for thought, right? They say from the cradle to the grave. What have we achieved in between? I heard a very respectable apostle say some time back that the human life is segmented into 4 sections. The morning time, afternoon time, evening time, and the night time. And what struck me about this was, and still is, the night time of a human being's life. Because at that point in time, I call it the wrap-up time. You know how it is when probably you're shooting a movie and they say, wrap it up. That is the wrap-up time of every man and every woman on the earth. That is a time where you're brushing up on the legacy you've left behind. That is a time where you're brushing up on the values, the worth, the morals surrounding your life. Little wonder that people that have taken out time to know what essence of time means, they don't joke. They don't have time to waste. You look at them and you're wondering why they're always on the run, why they're always on the move. They have focus. There's a price before them. They have precision. They're defined. There's something they're aiming for, and once you aim for something that is in front of you, you can't afford to be distracted. What are your goals? What are your plans? What are your intentions? Who are you? What are you doing here on earth at this time? Why were you born in this century? Why were you born in this millennium? What do I have to offer? What do I have not to offer? What do I have to give? What do I have not to give? Questions, questions, questions. But if you can take out time and make up your mind to hone yourself, to train yourself through the fire. After all, they say that how can you get perfume if a rose petal or rose petals are not crushed? How do you get gold? How do you get silver if they're not taken through the fire? Why are we so much in a hurry to get to the finishing line when we've not even as much as prepped ourselves? Sometimes we hurry into self-destruction. Sometimes we hurry into calamity. Sometimes we hurry into premature death or undeserving death. Whether it's mental death, psychological death, physical death, spiritual death. But there's a death somewhere because we did not apply time as we ought to. Let's not hurry in life. Let's take out time, and do the needful. What really needs to be done in my life to make me matter? I talked about power. I talked about value. Talking about time. They're all interrelated. There's a common thread that binds them all together. If you take out time to build, don't compare yourself while you're building. And guess what? Whether you're building a home, whether you're building yourself, whether you're building a career, whether you're building a family, do not compare yourself to the next person, be it your neighbor, be it a friend, be it a family member, be it a stranger, be it your enemy. Do not compare. It's so dangerous. You are you, and uniquely tailored for that matter. Aside from twins that look alike so much. Even at that, I read somewhere that it has been scientifically proven that no human being has the same palm print. That is how different you are from the next person. So why not run your race per time? Take out time and do you. Build yourself and train yourself to be unique. Do not waste time. Because once you lose time, you can't get it back. Oh, I was going to read that book like 2 days ago. If I'd started, I would have been probably on chapter 44. But because I didn't read 2 days ago, I'm on chapter 20. I can't bring back 2 days ago. I can't bring 2 days ago into my reality or into my present. It's not possible. It's not doable. So let's make use of what we have right now. Let's make up for the time lost. They say make hay while the sun shines. Time is of the essence. It's important to maximize time. Because when we get to the latter phase of our lives and we look back, we could say that, that wasn't bad at all. Time. Let's maximize time. Let's make the best use of time. Because in the long run, what you do with your time really does matter. So, as I inspired this morning, I'm going to close by saying, tick-tock, Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock goes the clock. Let's not waste any more time, because you still have time to make the best of your situation. Until next time, let's keep winning. Bye.
All right, you're welcome back, and you're watching Good Morning Africa on Housing TV Africa in the capital city, Abuja. Upon assumption in office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his inaugural speech, decided to remove fuel subsidy. And of course, that ushered in what seems to be hardship, particularly on common Nigerians. And questions have been asked whether or not this policy is holistic in nature, because it seems as if a greater majority of those who feel the brunt of the policy, talking about the subsidy fuel removal, is actually the masses, talking about the common Nigerians. Now, we've been joined rather by two personalities who will further x-ray what they make of the Bola Tinubu's administration and its economic policies and the impact it has had over time on Nigerians. Dr. Agoso Bameyi is a public affairs commentator, and Honorable Elexia Fokuta, she is a woman activist as well as a seasoned politician. All right, Dr. Agoso Bameyi, thank you so very much for joining us on Good Morning Africa.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Yes,
thank you, Doc. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah. Honorable Helexia Naiwa Fakuta, thank you once more for joining us on Good Morning Africa.
My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, they say ladies first, so that we don't seem to be gender insensitive here. All right, I'd like to start with you, Honorable Helexia. Of course, upon the assumption in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the first thing he made in his inaugural speech is the removal of fuel subsidy. But of course, he said that's for the betterment of the future of Nigerians. I'd like you to describe what you make, of this decision and how the decision has had impact on Nigerians to this moment.
Well, with my knowledge of finance as an accountant, and the removal of subsidy is not the problem. I don't think there's any politician or a presidential candidate that never suggests for that or have a financial plan for that. But the current problem we have with the removal of the subsidy is lack of accountability. Till today, Nigerians don't know what happened to the money that was removed from the subsidy. It's the accountability that is the problem. Subsidy has been removed. It affects every aspect of the economy, every aspect of their life, and they don't know where the money went to.
Okay, haven't laid, Honorable Fakuta, haven't laid the premise for this discussion. I'd like to also have the feel of Dr. Agoso, Bami, as regard to what you have just outlined. Let's also try to juxtapose, and have a feel of what he described as regard to what you have just outlined. Dr. Agoso, over to you. What do you make of the fuel subsidy removal? Do you think we have seen a positive impact as a result of this fuel subsidy removal, vis-a-vis what Honorable Helexia has said, that it's not a problem removing fuel subsidy, but accounting for it?
Well, thank you for having me one more time. The fuel subsidy removal was done hurriedly. And as a result, the necessary shocks that were to be in place so as to, make things easier for Nigerians were not there. I mean, it was just taken off, and overnight, prices of transportation, fuel, foodstuff, the prices of everything just went up, and the impact on Nigerians was very bad. And again, also, like the Honorable pointed out there hasn't been any accountability to this point. I mean, the understanding is the monies that are taken and put into subsidy will no longer go into subsidy. Those monies will be available for government to use in other things that are necessary to better the lives of Nigerians. But we've not seen that. I mean, we've not seen the change. We've not seen the betterment. The idea of fuel subsidy removal is a good one. I mean, it's something that should have been done long time ago. And all the presidential candidates agreed on that. But we have done it. We've seen the impact. The government will give you figures and tell you that things are working out. But down on the ground level, where ordinary Nigerians are, we have not felt the impact at all. We have not seen the impact. As a matter of fact, things have gotten worse. That is not to say that the subsidy removal is not a necessary thing. But this has not been properly accounted for. Monies that have been made available to government as a result of the removal has not been used in ways that will impact the lives of Nigerians. So it's like it hasn't been removed. As a matter of fact, it's looking worse. It feels worse.
Okay. All right, Dr. Agoso, still banking on what you have spoken, you have made mention of the fact that fuel subsidy was a necessity, and it's very important that the subsidy had to be removed. And other people would like to argue for the fact that this fuel subsidy, which is very necessary for us to take away from the system, it's very important, but they are of the opinion that before the subsidy is being removed, implementations or things should have been done in order to cushion this effect. Maybe refineries should have been put on ground in order to make sure that once the subsidy is being removed, it's able to, not give a big blow to Nigerians and all that. Then another question I would love to throw to you, because we want to get your take on that particular statement. Then another question I'd love to throw to you is the fact that when the subsidy was removed, it came with a lot of effect that gave a big blow to the whole Nigerians, and we are all suffering it right now. But then on, we went on to see that the government came up with things like palliatives, wage awards that will be effective to cushion the effects of this removal. I want to know if these things have actually been, very effective so far. And first, I like to think that it's still, cost effective, because them going to get all these palliatives to be able to cushion the effects, they're still spending more money that would have been used for something else. So I just want to know if maybe you think that way, and what you have to say concerning that.
Well, my thinking is that of an ordinary Nigerian, because I'm an ordinary Nigerian. I work with Nigerians at the lowest level. I lead traditionally. I'm a traditional leader. In case you do not know, even though I'm a development strategist, and so I sit with ordinary Nigerians at the lowest level. At that level, has there been any positive impact of the fuel subsidy removal or the exchange rate liberalization? Because that's another policy also that made things a little bit difficult for Nigerians. Absolutely. Has there been any positive impact on ordinary Nigerians? The answer is no. So, I mean, and I don't want to play around with it. I don't want to throw around figures like government officials like to do. Because Nigerians down at the lowest level are not feeling anything positive about this. The cost of living has gone up. The prices of food items, bread, even drinking water, rice, maize, those staples that Nigerians eat on a daily basis, all that has gone up. The prices of foodstuff is coming down a little bit, but has not gone anywhere near what it was before that fuel subsidy removal. Yes. So the ordinary Nigerians have not felt the impact. But if I put on my intellectual hat and I look at it, the argument is that it's going to take some time, and therefore palliatives need to be in place. So government keeps telling us that palliatives in place, but these palliatives are not enough. And, again, I go back to what I said earlier. The fuel subsidy removal was already done. The planning should have been done properly. Our refineries should have been put back on stream, if not all of them, maybe one or two of them. And we should have made arrangement that while we are taking away that money that is making fuel easily available to Nigerians, we could also put in their hands the means by which they would continue to have a comfortable life. That was not done. Later on, we came on with hurried programs, the fire brigade approach that we're good at in Nigeria. And like I said, at the lowest level, where majority of Nigerians live, this has not made any difference at all. It has made things worse for us.
All right, we're experiencing a little bit of glitches there. Let me get to Honorable Helexia. Having said that, you know, without having palliative measures to cushion the impact of the fuel subsidy removal, how would you describe the policy in regards to social safety net of Nigeria? Because this is another channel where we see it has become a cash cow, mostly such kind of policies, not just in this administration. The previous administration of late Muhammadu Buhari, they had a social safety net where you hear, you know, trader money, money for this, money for that, but without a comprehensive data, you know, you cannot really get this social safety net reaching to the people, you know, that are referred to as the poorest of the poor. And before that even, Nigeria was said to be the headquarters of poverty. So talk to me, Honorable Helexia, whether or not our social safety net is actually effective and having an efficient approach to meeting those who are in dire need of these, you know, palliative.
No, anytime they talk about palliative, it's actually annoying. Nigerians are not lazy people. An average Nigerian just need a working system, an opportunity to work and sustain themselves.
Yeah.
You can't keep bringing policy that keep improvising people and subjecting them to begging for food to survive. If our system is working, there's job available, the economy is fine, Nigerians will find something to do. When we said is as a result of the policy that increased poverty, multidimensional poverty on people, and you are now telling the people you rescue them by giving them palliative, how can that help in any way? We have been doing this and it's not helping anybody. We need a working system instead of worsening the system that we are managing to even build in the first place. In the past, in this country, you can sit as a young man or woman and say, to the nature of the system, you are only planning to survive for the next day. We can't run country like this. So the issue is not even giving people palliative, is how can the system work for us? Why is it that when Nigerians have opportunity to travel outside the country, they do wonders, they contribute, they work hard, they make great things, but when they are home, it's always problem. That means it's our system that is not working. So we need a working system. We are tired of palliative. We don't need fish. We are ready and we are capable of hunting fish. When subsidy was removed, what we were expecting was that all the Nigerian refineries will be working well, but till today we are still importing crude oil. We are still importing oil into the refined oil, despite even Dangote private-owned refinery. Till today, how many Nigerians can get gainful employment? So this issue is not even about the palliative. What Nigerians are asking for, give us a working system. We are ready. We are not lazy people. We are educated. We can do it. And it's time for us to hold our leadership accountable. Because I think lack of accountability is one of the reasons why these things are going like this.
I love what you just spoke about right now, and I want you to throw more light on this issue of unemployment. We are having a high rate of unemployment in the society as at now, and we see young people come out, they graduate from schools every year, they'll go to service. Every year we are doing passing out parade, and young people are being, you know, injected into the labor force, and they're out there in the labor market looking for jobs and everything. And we have government parastatals, that are supposed to be one of those things that will create job opportunities for our young persons, our citizens here in our country. But it seems like it's not happening. I want to talk on the issue of maybe what the things that may be causing this particular high rate of unemployment in the society, and also looking at one of the causes. I want to talk about the fact that we still have people who are supposed to have retired by now, but they have not retired yet. They are still in power, still at that particular position, which it seems like they are creating a kind of block for other people to come into the system. And looking at and talking about poverty, I want you to also talk about the issue of the minimum wage, which has been increased. It's a good thing, but is it actually solving the situation? Is it actually cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy and the high cost of things of foodstuffs and other things in the market? This is actually helping the people and helping citizens.
Yeah, you see, the issue of unemployment, when this government come into power and started all these policies, instead of the policy to change our life, in fact, so many multinational companies wrapped out of Nigeria, so many manufacturing companies closed down, and you know what that means? It means unemployment will increase, and there are graduates coming up again, no employment available as a result of the policies that they say is for the good of Nigerians. So many companies roll out because the policies cannot favor them. They cannot survive on such policies. And the removal of subsidy, what we are expecting is for government now to create employment. We're supposed to be industrialized too as a nation, create those employment with those money. Yet nothing of government, which kind of government employment has been increased, or what kind of industry has been established, or something that will make Nigerians have a gainful employment. So that kind of thing, it only increase hardship on Nigerians. The more it even draw us back. So where we were and expecting things to be better in the name of renewed hope, it now draws us backward into worse situation than where the present government meets. Right. And secondly, the retirement age. Imagine in a government, in a young country like Nigeria, because Nigeria, majority of Nigerians are young, in a young country like Nigeria.
About 70% of youth demography.
Yes. So where people that are supposed to retire and go and have good time with their grandchildren, you still retain them in office and leave the young people stranded. That is not helping. And for the minimum wage, the inflation goes with minimum wage. If there's high inflation, you already know that the peanut you are giving people cannot help them. An average Nigerian with even a wife and a child, even if they are drinking Gary 3 times in a day, 700,000 cannot do anything. So it only affects our own people. The 70,000 naira minimum wage, please, is nothing. It's a peanut. It cannot sustain anybody. Any sincere Nigerian.
All right.
To be honest with you, it only increase corruption in our system.
We will deal with the issue of corruption much later. Honorable Helakzia, we will deal with the issue of corruption much later, but let me get to Dr. Agosobami. Doctor, I don't know, but you may wish also to agree with me that the conversations within the political atmosphere in recent times is all about 2027, and that sounds as if in Nigeria we don't have 2026 in our calendar. Everybody just talks about 2027. Could you further x-ray this fact that the ability to separate politics and governance is still far from our leaders, because governors are defecting to other political parties, particularly the ruling All Progressive Congress, and that again undermines the power of the opposition in the country. But what is at the desk of most politicians, including those who have defected and who are still defecting to the APC, and those who have been at the APC all this while, is just 2027. Wouldn't that affect and undermine governance in Nigeria? Dr. Agoso, please.
I am afraid we're not having leadership. What we're having is politicking. And it has been like this for a while. I mean, since 1999, when Obasanjo came in after the military handed over,
Yes.
we had leadership for some time. And that leadership helped us to pay back our debts, and we also secured debt forgiveness and debt relief, and we began to work on our economy. The economy stabilized greatly. We started increasing productivity. There were attempts to revamp power and energy, and there was leadership for some time. Unfortunately, our president that time became carried away with the desire to perpetuate himself in power. So we started the third term bid. And from that point onwards, there was no leadership at all. It was just politicking, one-upmanship, trying to pull each other down so we could remain in power and all that. And then after that time, when Jonathan and his boss came in, we also had leadership for some time, proper leadership. Unfortunately, the president passed on while he was in office. Jonathan took over. Under Jonathan, we also had proper leadership for some time because there was a rebasing of the economy in 2014. Nigeria overtook Egypt, and South Africa became the largest economy in Africa. There was a fiscal stability, industries, foreign exchange stabilized to a certain extent. There was foreign investment coming into Nigeria, and it appeared that we were moving towards stability and growth. But then politics came again, and everything was thrown out. Jonathan was sabotaged. He was deliberately sabotaged. There were politicians who used Boko Haram and the insurgency to sabotage Jonathan. The power reforms that were going on were deliberately meant not to go the way they should go, just to sabotage Jonathan. All kinds of things were done to sabotage him so he can be kicked out of office. They succeeded in doing that. And then Buhari came in. When Buhari came in, unfortunately, Buhari is late now, and our tradition does not allow us to cast aspersions on people who are late. But you and I will agree that for most of the time, he was not in office. I mean, he was either out of the country attending to his health, or even when he was in the country, he was not in such sound and robust health to take care of the bull known as Nigeria. In fact, the bear known as Nigeria. And
there were some issues. There were some issues, as a matter of fact, that he was not in the know. He would tell Nigerians categorically that I'm not aware.
He will say, I'm not aware. That I'm not aware. I'm not aware. They kept it in dark and walked by the side. And then politics came on. Right now, what we're having is politics, not leadership. People are thinking about perpetuating themselves in office. Those who are in office, those who are outside office are trying to do ways and work in ways that they can get office. A lot of one-upmanship, and all that. And the thing is this, and our leaders and our politicians should know this. Nigerians are tired. We're tired of all these things that are going on. You're not providing us leadership. You're not working on the economy. You're not working on security. You're not working on the health, the education of ordinary Nigerians, which is the future. If we don't educate our young people, we don't have a future. You're not doing anything about that. All you are doing is about defecting from one party to the other. All you are doing is about finding ways through which you would win election in 2027. You're not leading us. And as a result, we're suffering. Our leaders should know, our political leaders should know that Nigerians are tired. And all the noise you are hearing about attempted coups and all that, these are symptoms of the fact that Nigerians are tired. And I would not suggest, even for a moment, I would be one of those who would resist it if there's a coup in Nigeria. But you cannot run away from the fact that Nigerians are tired, and whatever they can do to get rid of this attitude that our politicians have, instead of leading us, you are politicking. If Nigerians can find a way of getting rid of that, they would do. And so our leaders should know this. Sit up, lead us, work on our economy, work on education, work on all those social programs that will give ordinary Nigerians a good life. That is what we want. And it's not too much to ask. The resources are there to do it. Stop playing with the future of the country and lead us. That's what we're asking.
Okay, so talking about the things that government should do, I want you to talk about the involvement of young persons when it comes to leadership matters, when it comes to societal issues,
Governance.
and governance as a whole. I want you to talk about it. How this will help the country so well, and much the government can give the young persons a chance in the society.
It's important to do that. It's important we allow our young people to come into leadership. Not only are we not allowing them to come into leadership, we're not even mentoring them. We're not taking them under our hands to show them the ropes, so that eventually when leadership comes into their hand, they're going to lead us well. As a result, I worry. My worry is this, that eventually when the young people come into leadership, they're not going to be young. That's one. Secondly, when they come into leadership, they're not going to have the necessary experience to lead us properly. And so it's going to be business as usual. They're going to regurgitate. They're going to vomit back the sort of leadership that they have seen that has brought this mess upon us. And so there should be deliberate attempts to work on our young people. One of the things I do is to mentor young people across the country. Those who know me and follow what I do closely.
I know you as a mentor, Doctor. I know you as a mentor. But of course, we haven't had this mentorship in terms of from the political bigwigs, those political juggernauts. Haven't been able to mentor young Nigerians,
and even the ones that we have, we see that it's just the young boys who are young leaders who are just following them and helping them carry out their own activities, their dirty activities, and just maybe call for some stipends and some peanuts. That's what we are seeing in society as a whole.
So the thing is, I tell our political leaders, bring these young people under your wings, not to use them as your political thugs, not to use them as your boys that throw dirt at others through the social media, but to truly teach them leadership, to show them proper politics, so that eventually when they take over from you, and which they will do, whether you like it or not, eventually, they would lead us properly. It's very important for our political leaders to understand that. Draw young people close to you, not to use them, but to teach them, to guide them, to allow them to have necessary experiences, so they can lead us properly eventually when the time comes, so that they don't come into office as total novices who don't know left or right of political leadership and administration and civil leadership. But they come into leadership as people who have had the experiences. Is very, very important to do that. There are lots of our politicians who we shouldn't even be hearing their voices at all. I mean, they have had their time. They have given their best. I mean, imagine, we're talking about bringing back Jonathan to run. My question is, for what? People like, and I'll mention names here because it affects us, all of us. Atiku should not be considering running for office at all. People like El Rufai and the rest of them, you have had your time. We have had your name and over in Nigeria, in one office or the other, but you are still there, still presenting yourself. Are
recycling,
you
recycling the old brigades?
Recycling the old people. I mean, and the truth is that it's not about leadership. It's not that they really want to redeem us. It's about themselves. It's about making a name for themselves. It's about wealth, acquiring wealth using Nigerian resources. It's about that, not about true leadership. It's their children that should be running for office now. Atiku's children should be running for office. The same thing with Jonathan. The same thing with El Rufai. The same thing with Tinubu, who is in office right now. It should be his children that are running for office. I mean, people have come to me and said, come out and run for office. I said, what for? Why should I get out there and be pulling with young people, my children's age? For what? If the only thing that will make me do that is if I'm thinking about a name for myself, a political name, and I'm thinking about enriching myself, then I would do that. But if it is leadership, then I would encourage someone else. I would prepare other people and get them run for office. That's what we should be doing.
At least you have political mentees. All right, the conversation is getting interesting now. Let me get to Honorable Helaxia Fakuta. Honorable Helaxia, you are a politician, and of course, having heard what Dr. Agoso Babi has said, that also spice is up, for you to also, respond to this very critical question. You are a politician and of the opposition, not just the opposition, but the coalition. You are of the ADC, isn't it? A movement that is championed by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the likes of Anasiru El-Rufai, former Senate President David Mark, and so on and so forth. But what I really want you to address in this regard, first of all, is the place of the opposition party, because it seems like Nigeria is gradually navigating towards one-party system with what we see, the mass defection of politicians, governors defecting, senators defecting, members House of Rep defecting. Every politician that is a big wig in Nigeria political atmosphere is defecting to the All Progressive Congress. What becomes of a country's democratic environment without an opposition?
The current defection is kind of very, very questionable and funny, because it's a government that is performing that their masses are happy with, that their leaders are not defecting and say are getting into this political party because they are doing wonderfully well, and we now finally decide to defect because of the good work they are doing. But for average Nigerian, it's just insult between a political class and the masses. And let me tell you something. The opposition right now, African Democratic Congress, is not just a political party that is opposing the ruling party, but it's a line of hope for Nigerians, because 2027 is APC versus Nigerians. You gather in one political party where you are underperforming, plunging people into more poverty, hurting Nigerians, taking away every single hope they have, and you are expecting them to just go to the poll and vote you. It's crazy. But so the opposition party is just hope for common Nigerian that we have option. And you will see. Forget about things that you are seeing now. People are defecting. Most of the people that are defecting, how happy are their people with them? How happy are their people with their performances? Are Nigerians happy? Are Nigerians even having it right? What are we talking about? So let's continue with the show up and make people think that you are all powerful, almighty, you have the government, you have... It's the only ruling party that when you ask averagely, most of their supporters, they don't tell you that people are going to vote us in 2027 because we perform or they love us. They are just going to tell you that 2027, we are going to win because we have the INEC and we have the security, of which is bad. It's even bad. It's terrible for a sane person to say such thing. So we shall see. This is Nigerians versus APC in 2027, please.
Okay, Nigerians versus APC in 2027. But I also understand that the opposition parties, one or two persons from the African Democratic Congress, was invited by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, some times ago, and was that just part of political gimmicks to undermine the strength of the ADC?
It's disheartening to see how our systems are used for things that are not right nowadays. Attacking people anyhow, but it's the law, and nobody is against law. We are all Nigerians. If things are right, let it be right. If they are wrong, let it be judged by the law, but we should not use the law Just because you are in power, you now use the law against oppositions. That's bad. But we are Nigerians, and we hope that the leaders should be exemplary too by abiding by the law, and the people in power should not use the law to take advantage of the opposition.
All right, Honorable Helaxia Fakuta, for time constraint, I will just get, your last take, but let me get to Dr. Agosobami for your last take, first of all. And this has to do with the rising cases of insecurity in Nigeria and certain incursion in Nigeria. Yesterday, there was a protest in Abuja that has to do with the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, and of course insecurity that has ravaged the northwestern part of Nigeria, the fringes of Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna and Sokoto, and now it is drifting to Niger, Kwara, and of course the north central of Benue and Nasarawa. Dr. Agoso, you have been in a committee set up by the federal government some time ago and the Adamawa state government, to weather the storm between herders and farmer clash, that has been ravaging some part of Adamawa state, and you were able to produce results for these two warring individuals and communities. But what do you make of this incursion, this security uprising that has brought state under siege and is still continuing to devastate, state in the northwest and in north central?
Even insecurity in Nigeria, insecurity itself has been politicized. It has not only been politicized, it has also been monetized. There are conflict merchants and some of them are in government, who are making a lot of money from these conflicts that are going on. And also there are those who, earlier on I spoke about how Jonathan was sabotaged using the insecurity in the Northeast. There are people who, and as we get closer to election, you're going to see this insecurity increase. Because there are politicians who would use that to say those who are in power don't know how to lead us. So there is the politicization of insecurity. There's also the commercialization of insecurity. And both things are done by people who are in power. Therefore, it becomes very difficult to get rid of this insecurity. I've always said the Nigerian army is capable. Nigerians are strong. We can get rid of insecurity in just 2 years if we want to. But the political will is not there. And therefore, it continues. And it's going to be with us for a while. Like you said earlier, I have been part of committees that have studied this carefully. And I can tell Nigerians from an informed position that the political will to get rid of the insecurity is just not there. And that's why we continue to see it. And it's unfortunate. It is pushing Nigerians to the wall, and there's no telling what Nigerians will do.
Can you just give us an overview, briefly? Let's just have a feel of it, what the federal government can do as regard to this security incursion.
What I'm saying is this, and this is important, that insecurity in Nigeria cannot, it's not that we cannot solve it. We can solve it in 2 years. I mean, in less than 2 years, all the insecurity across the country. But there are two issues here. The political will is lacking. The Nigerian army is capable. Okay. Nigerians are willing, but the political will is just not there. There are people who have politicized insecurity. They are using it to show that the government in office is not strong enough, and therefore are promoting it. And then there are those who have also commercialized it. There are people who are in government and close to the government who make a lot of money out of this, and therefore would not want it to stop anytime soon. So the commercialization and politicization of insecurity is the reason why there is a perpetuation of insecurity in Nigeria. We need a strong political leadership that will say enough is enough. And I assure you, from my experience as someone who is directly involved in negotiations, that in 2 years' time, in less than 2 years, we will solve this problem.
All right. Thank you very much for your insight and your input. Your final take, Honorable Helaxia, your final take in this regard.
As someone from Northeast, it's so disheartening to see how these insecurity issues has been handled in Nigeria today. It has been massively politicized, as doctors have said. How many times have government come out to say we are going to list the sponsors of terrorists, and up till today, it's just a story for us. They have, and unfortunately, some people that are using that as, I don't know, cash cow. People's blood is their source of income, unfortunately. But the truth is that it's responsibility of the government. And if government cannot stand up and say we are ready to make it work, we will continue to move around just talking and commenting on the same thing and plunging into the insecurity in and out. The issue why today Nigerians can even go to the street and protest for freeing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because it's not because he's innocent, it's because there's selective justice in the insecurity problem. If Nigerians are clearly seeing where government is negotiating with terrorists and you now lock somebody and refuse him even fair hearing in the name of his terrorizing the country, which justice are we doing? So it's the effect of the selective justice. We really need to address this with sincerity, and we really need to put priority, because I don't think our leadership, our government take human life as something. Because at this point, what we need from our leader is even to be humane, is to have humanity in them. We are searching for the soul of the nation, and we hope that we will do better. We are Nigerians.
All right.
Nigeria is our home, and Nigeria should be better for us. There's no place in the world where we can call our country except this Nigeria, and it has to be right for us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Helaxia Naiwa and Dr. Agosobami. Thank you very much, two outstanding individuals, who have joined the conversation. Thank you. I'm looking forward to having more of you again.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. All right. Interesting conversation, isn't it?
Yes, it was really an interesting one and very eye-opening. I'm very glad that we're able to, throw more light and bring to limelight the issues that are actually happening, that are actually going on in the society, and how we can tackle this. I'm very happy our guests, threw more light on that and emphasized on on these particular issues, most especially that of insecurity. Absolutely. And when we came to the issue of unemployment and the high cost of things as a result of the fuel subsidy removal, because it's very important that this particular issue is tackled, the issue of fuel subsidy, because the fuel subsidy is like the pillar of everything.
Yeah, everything in Nigeria seems to revolve around the oil.
Even this pen. Yes. There's an increase in price.
If the seller of this pen tells you that he used to pay for transport 500 and now he pays 1,000, therefore he has to increase the price of the pen. So everything in Nigeria seems to revolve around oil. So the oil in Nigeria is like the nucleus, of life that is given to the country. Anyway, well, we've just had it today, and looking forward again for more of this kind of conversation on Good Morning Africa.
Yes, thank you. All right. Yes. All right, so till we come your way next time, of the following day with another interesting topic. Keep watching Housing TV Africa and follow us on our social media platforms. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Housing TV Africa, and also download the Housing TV mobile app on your Google Play Store and Apple Store. Many thanks for watching. I am Dorcas Chia.
And my name is Chris Jacobs. Do have a lovely day ahead.